You see, attraction isn't about looks, money, or status. It's energy. It's what you radiate when no one's watching. Most men spend their lives trying to impress women, but the truth is, women aren't impressed by performance. They're moved by presence. You can wear the most expensive suit, drive the best car, speak with perfect words, but if your energy doesn't feel safe, strong, and centered, she will sense it instantly. A woman doesn't fall for what you show her. She falls for what she feels around you. That calm confidence, that grounded energy that says, I don't need your validation, I'm already complete. Because deep down, women are not attracted to perfection. They're drawn to authentic power, the kind that doesn't chase, doesn't beg, doesn't compete. It simply is. If you understand how female psychology truly works, you'll never have to convince a woman to like you again. You'll become the kind of man that women feel drawn to without even trying. And that's what we're going to uncover today. Before a woman even hears what you say, she's already felt who you are. You might think attraction starts with a conversation, a compliment, or a clever message, but it begins long before that. It begins in your energy, the way you walk into a room, the way you hold your body, the way your eyes communicate self-assurance without arrogance. A woman's intuition is sharp. She doesn't just listen to your words. She reads your energy, your tone, your micro expressions, your emotional stability. Everything you don't say speaks for you. When your energy says, I'm uncertain, I'm trying too hard, or I'm seeking approval, she feels it. You don't need to say, I like you. Your nervous laughter, your rushed answers, your constant need for validation already reveal it. But when your energy says, I'm centered, I know who I am, and I'm not afraid of silence, she feels something completely different. She feels safe. She feels drawn. Because calm energy is magnetic. It grounds her, it attracts her, it makes her curious. Masculine energy is not about domination, it's about direction. It's about knowing your value without needing to prove it. A woman can sense when a man is authentic versus when he's performing. You can fake confidence for a few minutes, but energy doesn't lie. If you're anxious, desperate, or trying to impress her, she will feel it. If you're relaxed, honest, and self-assured, she will feel that too. Women are not searching for perfect men. They are searching for emotional frequency. For a man whose energy feels peaceful, steady, and unshaken. The truth is, attraction is an emotional exchange. When your energy is calm, you become a safe space. You make her feel at ease in her own feminine energy. She can soften, open up, and trust. But when your energy is chaotic, needy, or unsure, she subconsciously pulls away because something in her feels unsafe, not physically, but emotionally. Your energy communicates your entire story. If you've healed from your past, if you've learned to love yourself, if you've built discipline and peace, that will radiate. But if you carry resentment, insecurity, and inner chaos, it will leak out no matter how confident your words sound. You can't mask your vibration. It's the truth that speaks louder than any compliment or charm. A high-value woman is deeply sensitive to emotional energy. She knows the difference between a man who wants her and a man who values himself. When you value yourself, you don't chase, you attract, you don't beg for attention, you inspire respect, you don't seek validation, you radiate it from within. She's drawn to that energy, not because of what you say, but because of how you make her feel. Every word you speak carries an emotional frequency. If your energy is needy, your words will sound desperate, even if they're kind. If your energy is confident, your silence will speak volumes. It's not about talking more, it's about being more. That's the paradox. The less you try to impress, the more impressive you become. When you walk into a room, your energy arrives before your voice. If your mind is cluttered, your energy will feel heavy. If your mind is peaceful, your presence will feel light and magnetic. Women are naturally drawn to peace. They want to feel protected, not just physically, but emotionally. When your energy feels calm, you create a space where she can relax her guard. That's what real attraction feels like, not intensity, but harmony. Think about it. When was the last time you met someone who didn't say much, but their presence made you feel something powerful? That's energy. You can't describe it, but you can feel it. It's confidence without words, power without pressure, depth without explanation. You attract what you are, not what you say you want. So if you want to attract a confident, emotionally grounded feminine woman, become that same vibration in masculine form. Become steady, kind, present, and intentional. Work on your inner world more than your outward appearance. Heal your emotional wounds, build discipline, and learn to sit in silence without needing constant stimulation. That's how you shift your energy. Because the truth is, women aren't waiting for the perfect line, the perfect body, or the perfect job. They're waiting for a man who feels right, who feels safe, who feels like peace in a world full of noise. And once you master your energy, once your presence speaks louder than your words, you'll realize you don't need to chase anyone ever again. You'll simply attract. A woman doesn't fall in love with your potential, your achievements, or your promises. She falls in love with how she feels in your presence. And nothing makes a woman feel more safe, more connected, and more drawn to a man than emotional stability. Emotional stability isn't about suppressing your feelings or pretending to be unaffected. It's about mastering your emotions so they don't master you. It's about being the calm in the storm, not because life is easy, but because you've learned to remain centered no matter how hard it gets. When a man lacks emotional control, his entire energy becomes chaotic. He reacts instead of responds. He gets triggered easily, takes things personally, argues to win instead of to understand. That's not strength, that's emotional immaturity. And a high value woman feels it immediately. She doesn't want to be your therapist. She doesn't want to fix your wounds. She wants to feel your peace because a man's peace invites her softness. You see, emotional stability is quiet confidence. It's not loud, it's not boastful, it's stillness. It's being able to listen when others shout, to pause when others rush, to breathe when others break. That kind of composure is rare, and it's incredibly attractive when a woman observes how you handle pressure. She's subconsciously assessing whether she can trust your energy. She watches your tone when things go wrong, how you handle rejection, how you respond to disrespect, how you treat people who can't offer you anything in return. Your reactions reveal more about you than your words ever could, because anyone can appear composed when life is easy. But true masculine strength is tested in moments of emotional chaos. When you are emotionally stable, you don't need to prove your worth. You don't get defensive when someone questions you. You don't crumble when something doesn't go your way. You understand that your emotions are signals, not commands. You feel them fully, but you don't let them control your behavior. Women crave this kind of emotional maturity. They want a man who can hold space for their emotions without being swept away by them. Because the feminine energy is naturally fluid, emotional, expressive, intuitive. And when it meets a man who is stable, grounded, and calm, she feels safe to be fully herself. She doesn't have to shrink or suppress her feelings. She can flow because his energy creates safety, not instability. When you react to her every mood, she feels she has to protect herself. But when you remain calm, not cold, but calm, she starts to trust you because she sees you can handle both her light and her storms. That's real attraction, not the kind built on looks or lust, but on emotional polarity, the meeting of her sensitivity with your strength. A stable man doesn't try to control everything. He controls himself. He knows that losing his temper doesn't solve anything. He knows that emotional discipline is more powerful than dominance. He knows that silence can often speak louder than arguments. This is the energy that commands respect, not through fear, but through presence. And let's be honest, emotional stability takes work. You have to confront your ego, your past, your triggers. You have to learn emotional regulation, boundaries, and patience. You have to heal the boy inside you who still reacts from pain. Because if you don't, that unhealed version of you will show up in every relationship. You'll overreact, shut down, or chase validation without realizing it. Healing makes you powerful, not because it changes who you are, but because it teaches you how to stay grounded when everything else is shaking. It gives you emotional authority. You stop being pulled by every mood, every text, every disagreement. You become still, and stillness is strength. To a woman, that stillness feels like safety. It tells her, I don't have to walk on eggshells around him. It tells her, even when things get hard, he won't lose control. And that's when she begins to truly trust you, not just with her time, but with her vulnerability. Because deep down, women aren't searching for perfect men. They're searching for emotionally stable ones, men who can love deeply without losing themselves, men who can lead with compassion, not control, men who can stay calm in the middle of her emotions and say, it's okay, I'm here. That kind of presence is rare. That kind of energy is unforgettable. And that's why emotional stability is magnetic, because it doesn't just attract women, it anchors them. A man who can master his emotions doesn't chase love. He becomes love in motion. There's something profoundly magnetic about a man who knows where he's going, a man who wakes up each morning with a sense of direction, a fire in his spirit, a reason behind his movement. You can feel it in his presence, that quiet focus, that unshakable confidence that comes from living with intention. That is purpose. And to a woman, that kind of energy is irresistible. A man with purpose doesn't need to impress anyone because his life already speaks for him. His words carry weight because his actions align with them. His energy feels different, not scattered, not needy, but steady. He's not lost in distractions or seeking validation from others. His fulfillment comes from within, from doing what he was meant to do. Purpose is what separates the men who attract attention for a moment from those who hold admiration for a lifetime. It's not about being the richest or most successful. It's about being driven. When a woman meets a man who lives with purpose, she sees someone who cannot be easily swayed. She sees someone who has boundaries, discipline, and self-respect. He's not controlled by his emotions, his environment, or his desires. He's led by something greater. You see, a man without purpose becomes lost in people. He starts chasing women, validation, pleasure, and approval, and all of that drains his energy. But when a man has purpose, everything else falls into alignment. He doesn't need to chase because his mission gives him presence. And that presence pulls people in naturally, including women. A woman can sense when your life has direction. She can feel when your energy is built on progress, not just potential. She notices how you move, how you plan, how you handle failure, and how you speak about your goals. A man with purpose has a different tone, calm yet powerful, assertive but not aggressive, focused yet open. He doesn't just talk about what he wants, he's actively building it. That's attractive on a level deeper than physical, because purpose is masculine energy in its purest form, forward, intentional, and unwavering. And feminine energy is drawn to that like gravity. A woman wants to feel that her presence adds to your life, not that it becomes your entire life. When your identity revolves around her, she loses respect. But when your identity revolves around your vision and she becomes a part of that journey, she feels secure, inspired, and admired. Women want to align with men who have direction, not men who drift. They want to feel that if life becomes uncertain, your foundation will not crumble. They want to feel that your decisions come from clarity, not fear. That's why the most powerful thing you can do for your relationships isn't to become more romantic or more available. It's to become more purposeful. When you live with purpose, you don't chase opportunities, you create them. You don't wait for life to give you meaning, you give meaning to life. You move with conviction, and that energy commands attention without you saying a word. You could walk into a room and say nothing, yet people will feel your presence because your energy says, I'm not lost, I'm building something. A man with purpose doesn't overreact to temporary challenges. He knows that setbacks are part of the path. He doesn't get distracted by every shiny thing or every pretty face because his vision keeps him focused. His standards are high because his mission is sacred. He doesn't have time for drama. He's too busy evolving. And the irony is, when you stop chasing women and start chasing purpose, women start chasing you. Not because you're playing games, but because you've become rare. You've become the kind of man whose energy feels grounded, whose focus feels inspiring, whose silence feels powerful. Purpose gives you an aura. It gives you confidence that can't be faked. It gives you direction that others want to follow. And to a woman, that's not just attractive, it's intoxicating. So stop asking how to attract women. Start asking how to attract your own potential. Start waking up every day with a reason. Build something that excites you, something that challenges you, something that grows you. Let your mission become the fuel that drives your confidence. Because when your purpose becomes your passion, you stop needing attention, you start commanding it. A man anchored in purpose doesn't lose himself in relationships. He brings value into them. He doesn't need validation to feel worthy. His purpose already gives him worth, because purpose is the highest form of masculine energy. And when you embody it, attraction isn't something you chase. It's something you naturally create. In a world where everyone overshares, where people post every detail of their lives for attention, the most attractive thing you can be is mysterious. Mystery isn't about playing games or being secretive for no reason. It's about having depth, layers that can't be read in one glance, stories that don't need constant explanation. It's about knowing your worth so deeply that you don't have to prove it. Desire doesn't grow in full exposure. It grows in curiosity. When a woman can't quite figure you out, when she senses there's more to you than what you reveal, she becomes intrigued because her mind and emotions are designed to explore, to understand, to connect. If you give everything too soon, your emotions, your time, your availability, you take away the space for attraction to breathe. You don't build desire by being constantly accessible. You build it by being intentionally present and gracefully absent. When you have a life outside of her, passions, goals, discipline, and peace, she feels your energy, but also feels your boundaries. That balance creates emotional tension, and tension is the seed of attraction. Mystery isn't manipulation, it's control, self-control. It's understanding that not every emotion deserves to be expressed, not every thought needs to be spoken, and not every part of you must be revealed at once. A mysterious man doesn't hide. He holds back just enough to let curiosity grow. He's not distant, he's discerning. He shares what matters, but he never tries to oversell himself. Women are not drawn to men who expose their entire emotional world immediately. They're drawn to men who reveal layers over time because it creates a sense of discovery, and discovery builds emotional connection. When she senses that you have depth, she feels safe enough to explore it. But when everything is given too quickly, there's nothing left to imagine. And imagination is the heart of attraction. Mystery also means silence in the right moments. You don't always have to respond instantly. You don't always have to explain yourself. Sometimes your silence communicates more confidence than words ever could. It says, I'm comfortable in my space. I don't need to chase approval. That kind of energy is powerful. It creates presence. Women remember how a man makes them feel, not how much he says. If your energy feels grounded, peaceful, and unpredictable in the right way, it keeps her engaged. It keeps her wondering, who is he really? That wonder is desire. It's not about confusion, it's about fascination. To be mysterious, you must have a life that inspires curiosity. You can't fake it. You must be genuinely passionate about your goals, your hobbies, your values, and your personal growth. Because when a man has purpose, he automatically becomes mysterious. His focus is split between his mission and his relationships. And that balance is attractive. A man with mystery is not emotionally unavailable. He's emotionally selective. He doesn't share his heart with everyone, and that makes it valuable. His attention isn't cheap and his energy isn't scattered. When he gives his presence to a woman, it means something and she feels that significance. Mystery also creates respect. When you're unpredictable in a healthy way, when you maintain a sense of emotional independence, she learns to value your presence. She doesn't take you for granted because she knows you're not desperate for validation. You have options, not just in people, but in purpose. You're living life intentionally. Most men lose attraction not because they lack looks or charm, but because they lack boundaries. They reveal too much too soon. They chase too hard. They try to convince instead of allowing natural attraction to unfold. But attraction isn't forced, it's felt. It grows in space. It breathes in silence. It expands in mystery. Remember, mystery doesn't mean coldness. It means maturity. It means being fully open, yet not easily accessible. It's emotional discipline, knowing that your time, energy, and vulnerability are valuable currencies that not everyone gets to spend. When you master that, your energy shifts. You become rare, you become magnetic, because the truth is, the moment you stop trying to be understood by everyone, you start standing out. You stop chasing attention and start commanding it. The woman who's meant for you won't be frustrated by your mystery. She'll be drawn to it. She'll feel the peace, power, and self-respect behind it. Mystery keeps desire alive. It makes connection exciting. It gives love room to breathe and grow. So don't be afraid to hold something back. Let your actions speak more than your words. Let your silence create presence. Let your energy remain calm, confident, and just a little bit unpredictable. You see, so many men spend their lives trying to decode women. They read endless books, watch videos, memorize pickup lines, and analyze female psychology as if attraction is a formula. But real attraction isn't mathematical, it's energetic, it's emotional, it's spiritual. You don't attract through strategy, you attract through alignment. When your energy, your emotions, your purpose, and your presence come into alignment, you stop trying to impress and start expressing. You stop pretending and start becoming. And that's when women, especially the right kind of woman, feel something they can't explain, because attraction at its core is not about what you do. It's about who you are when you're doing nothing at all. If your energy is restless, anxious, and desperate for validation, it doesn't matter how expensive your clothes are or how charming your words sound. She'll feel that disconnection immediately. But when your energy is calm, confident, and centered in purpose, she feels something else, safety, peace, and respect. That's why everything begins with energy. Energy speaks before words, it introduces you before you even open your mouth. When your energy says, I am enough, she feels drawn. When it says, I need you to see my worth, she pulls away. The most attractive man is not the one who tries the hardest, it's the one who is most authentic, the one who knows who he is and what he stands for, the one whose silence is filled with peace, not insecurity. Because when you carry that kind of energy, you don't compete. You attract. But attraction doesn't end at energy. It deepens through emotional stability. You cannot be attractive to a woman if she cannot trust your emotions. Emotional chaos kills attraction faster than rejection ever could. When you react impulsively, lose control easily, or allow ego to dominate your interactions, it creates instability. And instability pushes women away. A woman feels most attracted when she feels safe, not just physically, but emotionally. She wants to know that your strength isn't loud, that your confidence